backing track, Mr. Pete.
It's good. It's one of those things that just where you can play all of these modes.
Modes, no more modes, no mystery, or whatever it was that Frank Gambale once said. I didn't understand it then. I don't understand it now. You don't need modes.
Well, we don't need modes, darling.
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of A blues. It was some...
modes.
What do you call that one? Mixolydian?
Yeah.
Mixolydian.
It was just a D major scale.
blues.
D major scale on an A down to a G. Yeah.
What?
Look, you play the D major, I'll play that. That's it. You know, it gives it a certain flavour.
Right, welcome back to Andertons TV.
Yes, welcome.
We are going to talk about an upgrade to the uber popular Fender Player Series. It's not 1 anymore, it's Player 2. Player 2, what was that Nintendo thing? Player 2.
Fight!
Oh my God.
That's never going to go away, is it? They'll never go and go. And we get the comments like, oh, you can't say that.
We can't say that.
Well, you can't say.
Look, it's very degrading.
I just found this pic from Hawk Pick, right, Hawk. And I mean, this guy, I can't remember what his name that does the Hawk Picks. You're missing a trick here, man, because you need to make the Hawk tour pick, honestly.
What does that say on the back of that?
It says here, it says, please like and subscribe, because every 10,000 new subscribers, we give away pedals and stuff. And then when we hit 1 million, which is very soon, we'll give away a real plug. And if you want to just use the timestamps to go to that one or that one or that one, whatever.
It's amazing where you find that information.
Yeah, it seems to be on everything at the moment. It's just...
Well, let's talk about Player 2. I've got a lump of paper on the floor here to talk about Player 2. We are just giving you the hors d'oeuvres today, aren't we? What do you call it? Like the entree.
The entrees.
Because Player 2
Peter
has
entree.
Peter entree. Player 2 has got a bucket load of new stuff coming in 2024. Yeah. So we're going to kick off. Everything is announced today. Right. So you'll be able to go see the links below, go to our website, go to the Fender website, whatever.
Pre-order.
So there's a bunch of guitars being announced today, but the only ones that have already been made and will be in the shops are what we have got here. So the 3 main upgrades or changes from Player 1, and these are the main upgrades. There are some sort of model upgrades as well, or changes. Finally, I hear you say, Palfero has been, that's it. If you're a Palfero tree, you can breathe a sigh of relief now, because you're not getting chopped down anymore to make fretboards for Fender Player Series. Nope. If you're a Rosewood tree, now's the time to panic and...
But isn't that something you have to fall? So
no, not Rosewood.
Isn't it?
That's some Hawaiian
I thought in
thing,
India, yeah, I think the rosewood tree has to fall. I might be wrong, but I think I've heard something like that. There's the tree that needs that.
No, I didn't touch it.
I didn't touch it at all.
It just fell over.
What was that chainsaw?
So anyway, so Rosewood is back now on obviously all of the darker fretboards. No longer Palfero.
It feels different, man. It does feel different.
It sounds way different. It's so much darker sounding than a maple fret.
I'm not saying it sounds different because I don't dare.
The edges of the fretboards are rolled. I thought they were rolled on Player 1, but clearly not. So Player 2 now has...
a bit more vintage.
Well, a bit more worn in, like your favourite pair of slippers, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then finally, we have some colours you'll be familiar with, but 4 uber cool new colours. In fact, do you know what? There is a bit of a story behind new colours as well as the other features. So why don't we introduce Justin Norvell, Vice President of Product for Fender. And he's going to tell us a little bit about those features and the new colours on this series. Hey Justin, thanks for joining us super early in the morning LA time. Player 1 is no more, Player 2 is the new thing. Tell us what are the differences?
Yeah, so Player 1, is one of the best-selling, lines of guitars and basses on the market, and the Ensenada factory just continues to raise the bar on itself. There are things that we felt that, we were capable of and really bringing even more value to these instruments. So we started to deploy certain things that people love on some of our higher end instruments. So, we're bringing back Rosewood, which had gone away during the whole Lacey Act thing. Palfaro, while a good wood that we've used and we use on like the Stevie Ray Vaughan, etc. Still, the return to Rosewood is really a return to the true original recipe of Fender. That's what it's all about from 59 on. We also rolled the edges on the fingerboard. So you're going to get that beautiful Fender broken in feel that started back with the American series in 2000. And then there's just a variety. There's classic gear tuners. There's new pickups on some of the offsets, and there's new woods. We have a mahogany and an ash chambered versions of certain guitars, which are fantastic as well. And the chambering is not just like nailing holes through the guitar or just doing huge routes. It's actually a very designed in, sculpted. I say it looks like a skate park on the inside of the guitar. It's been so thoughtfully done in a way that retains kind of the tonal transfer of the body of the instrument. So, if it's not broken, don't fix it. It's not like we're sawing a horn off one of the Strats or something like that. It's, the Player Series is a really good on-the-go pickups. They're great guitars, but we just wanted to sit there and just let's roll the edges. Let's put Rosewood back. Let's put the classic gear tuners on. We came up with several things. So designed in, coloring inside the lines that just subtly elevates these models that we think really makes them just a cut above what they used to be. 20 years ago, Ensenada was not making things like the Rocky Stratocaster or the Mike McCready Stratocaster. What the capabilities have become have really opened up the design possibilities on features that we can give to people.
No, you've done a beautiful, beautiful job with these. Going just quickly, in case people are wondering, all the chambered guitars and the guitars with the slightly more unusual timbers are on a second phase release for Europe and the UK. So we won't.
Yeah,
see
being
those
announced now, but they're coming later in October, I would say.
The video Pete and I are going to do now is really focusing on the kind of the core standard sort of Player Series, if you like, of the Strat and the Tele and the HSS version of the Strat. I got to say, you've killed it with the colours. Some of these colours I've never seen out of Ensenada before.
Yeah, so they're completely new colors for us. There's been interest in, say, the old international colors, and everybody loves vintage colors. So one of our main paint suppliers actually has a paint. They do tons of automotive, and they have a paint historian.
Wow.
It has like a paint library, and you can go through and look at Model T paint books from the 20s, and you can look, all of this stuff. So we went back to the Duco and DuPont books from the 50s and 60s, and it was kind of in the books that had the Sherwood greens and the shoreline golds and the shell pinks and etc. We just picked other colors from other cars in that period. So it's maybe the color underneath Fiesta red. So coral red, aquatone blue, Hylia yellow, and birch green are just some cool, of course, your whites, your blacks, your sunbursts are there, some new colors, but new colors totally with a tie back to that original recipe down to going back into those old books.
I'm really, really looking forward to playing these. I can only really echo what you've said about the quality of the guitars coming out of Ensenada now. I'm old enough to remember when that was a new thing. In fact, I visited the Ensenada factory. Wow, I don't think it had been open more than a year or two. And just the guitars that were made then compared to the guitars now are just chalk and cheese.
Yeah, it's beautiful having our Corona factory and our Ensenada factory are a little over 100 miles apart. So it hasn't been hard for the Corona staff to go down there or custom shop people to go down there. If you remember the old classic players, Chris Fleming, Mark Kendrick, some of these luminary names in guitar making have gone and just for years been importing that knowledge down into Ensenada. And it matters. And Eric Johnson has said small things make a huge difference or can make a huge difference. And, even doing the aged pickup covers on the Strat and the knobs to make it look a little bit richer, there's the tint is a little bit darker. It's not super dark, but it's a little bit richer. And so details, are these things that we're just going through and making sure that they're the best they can be. They're so far from what they used to be. And for the entryway to a Fender Strat, Tele, P-Bass, J-Bass, Jazzmaster, Jaguar, we're proud that this represents that kind of entry point.
Well, thank you for that. And I'm certainly looking forward to playing these with Pete now. Whilst you're on as well, and I don't know how involved you were on this project, but I also tried the very first sort of sample prototypes of the 60th anniversary Fender Strat and Tele that we're doing with you guys. They are also built in Ensenada, and I have to say, I honestly thought I was playing a custom shop Strat while I was playing them. It's just one of the most fantastically built guitars.
Fantastic. And we got to get you back down there to Ensenada.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Some tequila and some Mexican food, and then maybe if we have time, we'll look at some guitars. So, all right, man. Well, look, thank you so much for getting up so early to do this morning. And yes, I shall see you next time I'm in LA. Bye, man.
All right, appreciate it. Bye, Count.
So we're going to strum these. I am very, very quickly going to tell you about the guitars that you will be able to see that have been announced but that we don't have today. So we've got lots of Strats and Teles here, which we'll talk about today in a minute. But the guitars that we don't have are some lefty versions of these, some chambered body Strats and Teles, which we'll talk about maybe at the end. We've got double humbucker Teles, which we'll talk about at the end. We've got Jaguars and Jazzmasters now, which seemingly have got the sort of, the simplified switching, but the proper trem system, which is cool.
I love that.
And we have got Mustangs, which, by the looks of things, have got hardtails rather than the, as in Strat style hardtail systems. We've got P basses, we've got jazz basses, we've got Mustang basses.
Mustang basses. I want a Mustang bass, man.
Mustang basses. And yes, according to this, the guitars we're showing you today. Oh, here we go. This is useful.
Right.
So the regular Strat, the HSS Strat, the Telecaster, the P bass, and the jazz bass are out now in the shops today.
Hello.
By August, we should see the Telecasters with the two humbuckers and all the offsets, including the Mustang bass. And then by October, we'll see the chambered models and the left-handed ones.
Do we know which models are chambered yet, or is that just like a...
we do know exactly. I think there's a Strat and a Tele, a chambered Strat and a chambered Tele. Let me tell you. So yes, there is a chambered ash or chambered mahogany body in the Strat, and then there is a chambered ash or chambered mahogany HSS Strat, and then there is a chambered ash or chambered mahogany regular Telecaster. That's it. So the HH Telecasters are not chambered, but we'll do those in October. October will be here before you know it, and then we'll do them. So should we start?
Go for it. Go. You go for it.
Well, I'm thinking we should probably
the same guitar.
Yeah, we should probably just start with. I'll do the red Strat. You do the blue Telecaster.
Telecaster.
Let's start with this absolutely beautiful looking guitar.
You know what? I love that colour.
I love this colour as well. What do they call this?
This is my favourite colour. This one here.
Oh, I'm going to put this down in a minute. I'm going to take, because I've got a colour thingy here.
Yeah.
So the 4 new colours. Coral red, that's what I've got.
Oh, yes.
Birch green is the one that you liked, Pete. And my granddad's, he was a Birch. That was his surname.
Birch.
Aquatone blue is this one. And then what we don't have, which is just as well, because I'm not entirely sure I can pronounce this. Highly yellow. Hello. And then, of course, you've got all your normal whites and sunbursts and blacks and blondes and blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah.
I like the yellow one as well. It's a bit vintage.
Enough. So, all
just a play,
body.
man.
Alnico 5 single coil pickups. 2-point trem. Rosewood board or maple, if that's what you would prefer. C-shape, 9.5-inch radius, and I don't think I mentioned before, perhaps Justin did in his little video clip, we've now got the classic gear vintage style tuners on these guitars. In Ensenada in Mexico. Yes, absolutely.
We need to go to that factory. If you want to see us go to that factory, please comment below, because I would love to go to that factory.
Maybe we'll go next NAMM or something like that.
We should do. You need more reverb and delay on there.
Take everything off. This is just my amplifier on its own, which incidentally is the amp built into the pedal board.
I can't believe it sounds like a Strat.
I mean, this is what do you expect, everyone? It's like this 1000th video we've done of a Strat, and you go,
and then
hey,
Telecaster go,
it sounds like a Strat.
Oh my God, I cannot believe it this time.
Let's focus on the things that should feel different. The rolled edges are not as extremely rolled as some guitars.
No.
They have sort of, if you had to rate rolling from like one being completely right angled and 10 being almost like a
sire.
Yeah, like crazy, where you've almost got like a circular style edge. I would put this at a 3 or a 4.
Yeah, it's like it's been played. It's really nice. I think they feel nice, these necks. I think they feel nicer than before.
I agree. It's where you notice the roll, for me anyway, where I notice the rolled edge the most is when you thumb over the top like this. And it's nice to just
I never thumb over the top.
You don't?
No.
It's nice just to have, I prefer to just not have that very hard angular thing, because, you know, not that it makes the guitar unplayable.
You want the rims sort of soft and rolled.
Yeah, you just want that slightly worn in. I know what you just said there.
I don't say anything. Stop it, man.
I've always liked this pivot trem, so I like the bent steel saddle, so it gives it that sort of vintage look, but I think the 2-point trem just has a slightly more fluid. Or do you like the vintage style?
I think when they're putting vintage style tuners on it,
you think they should have a...
They should have put a vintage style, and I don't like this either.
I was about to say, so you've got also a contemporary bridge rather than the ashtray style
so
bridge,
they've obviously gone for that on all the models. I don't like this bridge.
Player's always been...
Personally.
So, we should say that. Within the Fender range, Fender categorically go, if you want vintage inspired, you go Vintera from Mexico or Vintage 2 from America.
Yeah.
If you want uber modern, you go Player Plus from Mexico or Ultra from America.
Yeah.
And if you just want like in the middle, like just a good sort of, you know, not too modern, not too vintage Strat, you go Player or American Pro.
Yeah.
So, and obviously you take your choice. I probably would lean towards Player or Ultra, and you would lean more towards Vintera or...
Yes, but I like the way this guitar feels. It feels better, in my opinion, than the Vintera does.
Yeah.
But I would just take this off and throw a, you know, like with a brass saddles on.
Well, let's finish off. Here's another Strat sound that won't surprise you. Alnico 5 pickups. I mean, I'm not a huge, you know, magnet expert, but...
You've got no magnetism at all.
No, they don't sound like an overwound, hyper hot. Everything about this guitar, I think, is getting that middle lane.
Yeah.
Just be like, sort of in the middle of everything. Not too hot, not too.
But that's not when you're driving on the motorway, because that's so bloody annoying. I mean, people drive right in the middle lane. You're in the middle lane. You honk the middle lane.
If I put my brown carbon on, this is very low gain. I wasn't using this in the opening jam. That sounds good.
Nice. You know what it reminds me of? A Strat.
If I go Gritador, that's a bit more tube screamery. So. I like that. That's where, for me, the back pickup on a Strat with no drive is always a bit like, whoa, as soon as you get a bit of drive. And then what I had for the opening jam was loads of gain from a Sheriff, even more gain from the Wampler Tumnus and delay, and I was... which I really like. Man, Fender have to reinvent Strats and Telecasters every single year.
It must be so difficult, man.
And you know they can't take away the essential Stratiness of it, because then there'd be a riot. But they just do these nice little tweaks, and I think it's a great. I tell you what, I haven't told you that is the price.
Yeah.
And I suppose that puts everything into context, because these are about 700 quid. Yeah. And I sort of feel for a guitar of this quality and this beauty at that kind of price, it's a really great offering. And
it is.
You know, I liked Player 1. I like Player 2 a little bit more, especially I think obviously if you had a maple neck Player 1, the upgrade to Player 2 is more marginal.
That's what you want to do, isn't it?
I prefer these tuners. I like the vintage style tuners. I like the rolled edgy thing, and I like Rosewood more than Palfero, because you know.
Just because
I'm a traditionalist. Mr. Pete, tell me about that
really
beautiful...
like this, the neck on here is satin finish, I like that. Mm-hmm. And it's got a gloss thing on the top, so that little extra sort of...
classy at the front.
Little classy at the back.
Practical at the back.
Practical at the back. But still, I'm not a fan of this. It looks cheap, man. You know, in my opinion... But it is affordable, because it's an affordable guitar, so but I would take it off. Put an ashtray on it with the and that's what's that, 20, 35 quid or something?
Maybe,
Boom.
but that's not on there because it's cheaper. That is on there. So the 6 steel block saddles gives you better, or should give you better intonation, and the not having the lip around the ashtray, some players find more comfortable. Yeah. So it's not. They've not done that because it's cheaper. They've just done that because, again, for me, it's all about being in that middle lane, isn't it? It's about just having something that's just a good all-round utilitarian. Yeah, I mean that's the only thing about this guitar that I'm not a fan of. Everything else about it is Colour's
super.
Great, isn't it?
Colour's great. It plays nice. It feels nice. So we see if it sounds nice. No pedals on at all. It sounds like a Telecaster. You know, it plays really nice. It's got the Telecaster vibe. Whoa, nice bridge pickup. That's a bit of Cali 76. A bit of Flint. That's nice, the Flint, isn't it? Put a bit of Dane on, because we know what that does with a Telecaster. A bit more gain. That was for us downstairs. That's it, man.
Sounded
It's
great.
great. It looks great. It plays great. I would absolutely recommend people buying one of these if they're looking for an affordable guitar. That though, buy yourself a little Wilkinson bridge, stick it on there with the brass, because I think it'll get a bit more sing to it. Bing. Otherwise, that man for the money, it's insane, dude. Honestly, right?
No, it's very, very cool.
Look at it. It looks cool and it's not heavy at all or anything. So, what's it? All the bodies?
Yeah.
So you get all the good stuff.
So I picked the blue HSS Strat rather than the green one because I just wanted to talk about the maple fretboard. The difference between this and the 3 single coil ones is this Alnico 2 humbucker at the bridge here.
Right, look, outputs.
A maple fretboard, there's so much urban myth or whatever about, you know, originally back in the early 50s, Fender guitars only came with maple fretboards, and then in 59 they added the option to have a Rosewood board. And some people say it's because Leo didn't like the fact that actually as you get wear on the maple fretboard it goes dirty. I say that, it wouldn't be that Leo didn't like it. Every change Leo Fender ever made to a guitar was based on the feedback from players rather than his own personal thing. So some people, if you look at a relic guitar with a maple fretboard, you'll see like a, you know, dirt where you wear it out. Some people say it was because they didn't like that, and then you go to a Rosewood board, although you've still got all the dirt in there, because it's a dark board you can't see it, so it always looks kind of newer. Some people say...
I dare you to lick it.
Yeah, some people say it would have just been down to the availability of timbers and things like that. Other people say it's a tonal thing and a feel thing. Until you can feel the difference or hear the difference yourself, and some people say then you never can, so that's fine. If you can't, then that's just choose visually. Don't go too like rabbit hole about which is the right one to get, because it's the essence of the guitar is like still it's all down here, and the feel will be the same. It's just, so I would just go with what do you like the look of. Anyway, so Player 2, what they've done here is taken a feature that used to only be available on American stuff, which is where the back of the neck is satin, the front of the neck is lacquered. That is a throwback to when these guitars would have had the whole neck would have been lacquered, and people would have said, it feels a bit sticky on the back, so wear that off and that's nice. But they like the glassiness of the feel and the tone on the front. So you've now got lacquer on the front, including on the front of the headstock, satin on the back. I like it. I say now, you used to get that on Player 1, that hasn't changed.
I like you also got the your truss rod adjustment up there in the front.
That was a great step forward, Fender. When it was down here, that is a pain in the bum. So you don't need to hear all this again. I just want to show you the humbucker, basically. Way more powerful than... That's your single coil output. Maybe put it in the middle one. So you can hear anybody that wants to put some drive on, like I had maybe. Humbucker is just a different vibe. That's a lot of fun, right? I mean, who doesn't want to do that?
All day long.
All day long.
All day long. I couldn't think of a better thing to do all day long.
What, then just put a humbucker on with loads of guitar?
Play guitar all day long.
100%. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is all we've got to show you of Player 2 today.
We will be back with more.
Yes, I think we've probably flashed up images of the other guitars that are coming during this video. So what are you excited about seeing? Are you excited about seeing the offsets or the chambered?
I'm excited about the offsets.
Yeah, the chambered ones are interesting. They've never done, as far as I'm aware, in Mexican guitars before, never done chambered, but chambered ash, chambered mahogany will be interesting because that'll take some of the weight away.
Yes, but some mahogany is light, don't you know?
Yeah, I mean, price-wise, just flicking through, the regular Strats are just over 700 quid. It's about another... The chambered ones are about 800. The ones with the humbuckers are, again, about slightly more than the single coil ones. The Teles are all around about the 700 quid mark. Again, chambered around about 800.
Wow.
So everything is, even the offsets are sort of sitting all in between £700-800. The Mustang, crikey, the regular Mustang is 600 quid. Yeah. The P bass and the Jazz basses are about 800, and then the Mustang bass again is back down to a sub 700 quid. So
it's good to see you can get some, that hasn't had to be so expensive to buy a Fender.
Totally agree.
That actually feels and plays nice.
Yeah, totally agree. Well
done, Fender, well done, Fender.
Links to the Andertons website will be below. You can go and find out even more by checking on the links there. But yes, Pete and I will jam out. Thank you, Mr. Pete, for your wonderful loop.
You're welcome.
Again, if you're interested in any of the other gear that we're using, that is a Shure Looper X board.
Video up there.
That's very expensive, but it's the only looper board that we've ever used that sort of recreates the full band thing.
Yes.
Pete's pedal board hasn't really changed. My pedal board is the only thing interesting about it, really, is the fact that I'm not using the amp on top of the cab anymore. I've got an amp on my board, but I'm still using the cab.
Channel 2.
Oh, yeah. Taylor's saying, and I should also mention as well, we have just gone live with a second Andertons channel. We're very aware.
You want more of us?
When Channel 1, when all the presenters present stuff, obviously there's a lot of ramble, there's a lot of banter, it's all messing around, and some of you just want to see the playing, right? That's all you want to see. You want to hear the gear play stuff. So that's what Channel 2 is going to be. It's going to be the home of lots of playing-only demos. It's also going to be where our artist interviews live from now on. And there was one other thing which I can't remember, but anyway, you'll have to subscribe to Channel 2 to see what that is. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Pete. Thank you, everybody, for watching. See you in another video soon.